Well, here's the deal. CNN has released a detailed report on sexual harassment and misconduct allegations against actor Morgan Freeman. 16 people spoke on the record with CNN. 8 of the women shared their stories, and then 8 other people shared corroborating testimony of these accounts. Now, Morgan Freeman has responded in a brief statement this morning. I'm going to read that, and then I'm going to read some of what CNN detailed in the report. Morgan Freeman says, "Anyone who knows me or has worked with me knows I am not someone who would intentionally offend or knowingly make anyone feel uneasy. I apologize to anyone who felt uncomfortable or disrespected. That was never my intent." Now, here's what some people are saying about him, and this is a really long report. Please read the full thing. The first account comes from a young production assistant who worked with Morgan Freeman on the set of the movie Going in Style. She alleges that Freeman subjected her to unwanted touching and comments about her figure and clothing on a near daily basis. Freeman would rest his hand on her lower back and rub her lower back, she said. In one incident, she said Freeman kept trying to lift up my skirt, asking if I was wearing underwear. He never successfully lifted her skirt. She said he would touch it and try to lift it. She would move away and then he'd try again. Eventually, she said Alan Arkin made a comment telling him to stop. Morgan got freaked out and didn't know what to say. And then there's another account saying he did comment on our bodies. We knew that if he was coming by, not to wear any top that would show our breasts, not to wear anything that would show our bottoms, meaning not to wear clothing that were fitted. So this is a really detailed account. There are a lot of women that have spoken. There are also allegations coming from the from his production company and his co-producer, and maybe she knew about some of this stuff. So there's a lot to get into. You guys all read the report. What were your thoughts when you were reading it over?
Oh God, was my thought.
Literally.
Because he's the voice of the Lord to me.
Well, I think to many people that a lot of people on Twitter have been saying things like, he was one of the good ones, and like, how could you? And
yeah, I don't like it. I mean,
of course not.
It's really hard on me, is what I'm trying to say. All of
What
this
was
is really hitting me hard.
all about you,
But
Brett.
that's the logic that goes through my mind with, like, when I hear a new story, because you've heard so many stories.
Right.
I hear these stories and I'm like, oh, not Morgan Freeman, and it's never, and it's me admitting this. It's never like, it's seldom. Oh, that poor woman. It has gotten to the point where I've already gone through the that poor woman thing. Now I'm like trying to save my precious favorite people, and that's wrong of me.
It is. No, but I felt the same way. I'm not gonna lie to you. I felt the same way when I first read this story. And what was really kind of disturbing about this story was that there were so many people who actually witnessed it, and they said he didn't do it to me, but I witnessed him do it to a lot of people. And just the complicitness of all these people that were around. But again, you see this power dynamic where you have a PA who's like, I feared for my job. As you know, a PA can be replaced. Morgan Freeman cannot be replaced. So again, you see that power dynamic where these people feel like they can't say anything.
I will say, here's the sad way that Morgan Freeman will be replaced. He will be replaced in our minds by the next person that has a scandal like this.
No, that's so
and it's just like, that's right. So who was in there again? Oh, it's like, was it Louis C.K. was the last one? Was it? Who was my last favorite person that had this story? Bill Cosby?
I think it's like also important that, and I think there was kind of like a reaction when it came to the Juno Diaz accusations. One of them was an assault accusation. The rest of them were kind of behavioral, verbal things or harassment. And this is, a lot of heavy sexual harassment. I think there's an importance in noting what that does to a woman, that you should not have to go to work and you're fearful. You're weirded out about comments about your body and your clothes and sexual comments, and it does do something to you. It messes with your mind. And it's important that, okay, so this is not rape and no one is saying that, but this is important, awful behavior that should be talked about.
Very bad behavior that it seems wasn't called out for so long and was sort of there was a blind eye turned to it by so many people because of his status in Hollywood as such a beloved figure, both in voiceover and as an actor, and also for some of his philanthropic deeds. And so there was all this stuff that sort of protected him, and there was nothing to protect those women, and that he also knew that. And that goes to show his abuse of the power structure, that he was cognizant of his stature, of his status, and that he used that to abuse lower level women. And the other thing that sort of stuck out to me is that his production company is the production company behind the television show Madam Secretary, which was on CBS.
Right.
And what's interesting is that there are some people that spoke on the record, and then there's some people that spoke with CNN off the record because they still wanted to protect their jobs. And I can't recall which one this falls under, but someone was saying that they're in the writer's room for Madam Secretary, and once all the Me Too movement started happening, all of them were joking about, I wonder if Morgan's gonna get called out because of all his history of bad behavior that was so widely known.
The granddaughter thing, is that where we're going?
No, just was so widely known at the company. But what were you gonna say, Brooke?
Oh, there was a story about was he date like his step granddaughter? I don't want to get it wrong.
I want to look it up because that's juicy. That's some juicy stuff. Yeah, I thought he was gay. Is that weird?
No.
The rumor about Morgan Freeman was that he was gay.
No.
No?
No, Jason said the same thing.
Yeah, thank you. I'm not alone. Jason, that's the rumor. There's a rumor of like 19 people in Hollywood that they're gay. And Morgan Freeman was one of them.
Well,
and it's just...
Listen, I mean, as Brooke always says, I think this is so true. Two things can be true. I mean, he could, both and. He could be gay or bisexual or whatever and still absolutely harass and engage in poor behavior around the office. I think the one thing that I related to, because I worked at a film studio for a number of years actually with someone who has also fallen under some misconduct allegations I don't think we'll discuss on this show, but...
Why not, Grace?
Well, we can.
You protecting him?
No, I'm not protecting him, but I don't think that anyone knows who he really is. Anyway, that's neither here nor there. Point being, there's a story about how Morgan Freeman was massaging an intern with one hand, and that is the sort of creepy thing that unfortunately prior to the Me Too movement, super common.
No, that is one thing that I was thinking about when I was reading this, was that as women, we are sort of conditioned to be like, oh, he's just a guy, like he's just a creepy guy, you know, just have to deal with it, just have to not wear a low-cut shirt, not wear, you know, tight pants or whatever. And that's not how it should be. You shouldn't feel like that when you go to work or really when you go anywhere.
Now
it affects you.
I just wanted to, I did some research, Pop Trigger Investigates.
Here we go.
And there is a report who was Deanna Hines, Morgan Freeman's step-granddaughter, allegedly in a sexual relationship with the star. However, that was, it's a very sad story. That was the rumor reported by The Sun before she was murdered.
Oh, gotcha.
Oh my gosh.
So listen, when we do Pop Trigger Investigates, it's not always gonna be good news.
That's true.
So, okay, so then I guess
will report it with the wrong tone to belittle the severity of the case, and I apologize.
So just to sort of wrap things up, I read at the top of the story Morgan Freeman's statement. What did you guys make of that? It's a very short, brief statement that he has said. He does say that he apologizes for he never intentionally offended or knowingly made someone feel uneasy.
That's the problem with it, is that he says, oh, I didn't mean to, which is what all the rest of them said. Oh, I didn't mean to. Sorry that you took it that way. Yeah. Like that's not an apology.
There's like this common misconception that we care about your intent. Intent does, this is a big HR thing. Yeah. Intent does not negate impact.
Right.
So it didn't matter. You shouldn't have done it. It didn't matter why you did it.
Yeah. Right.
It doesn't matter that you thought that it was a compliment, that you were being nice, that you were saying, hey, nice cleavage. It doesn't
First of all,
matter.
thank you.
But it's like, dude, come on, man.
Yeah.
We don't even have to break down how ridiculous that is, that you can say my intent wasn't. Just the fact that it doesn't matter. And people don't realize that. Sometimes I'm sorry, period, would be so much better than a lot of these, page-long.
Well, I have to apologize that we're going to break right now, but we have a lot more Pop Trigger after this. Do not go away.